Warmed up? Warmed up? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Cool. How's it going? All right.
Oh, there's a warm-up podcast.
Hey, what's up, guys? It is Eric here, back with the Happy, Healthy Human podcast, where we discuss the 5 factors of health: nutrition, rest and recovery, mindset, movement, and connection. And today I have a good pal of mine here, and I'm going to give a little background to him. But we have Aaron Bautista here. He's the head coach and owner of Strength with a Purpose. He's formerly an anorexic, bulimic, orthorexic, don't know what that is, going to tell me what that is, drug abuser, porn addict, and recovering people pleaser. His hobbies...
That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful. His hobbies include motorcycle riding, building things with his hands, raising chickens, videography, overlanding, camping, and road trips. And if you guys don't know, he's also currently my coach as of like the last, how long has it been?
Bro, I think it's been like 6 months.
Has it been 6 months?
Yeah.
As of the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So Aaron's been my coach for the last 6 months.
Since May.
Since May?
Is that 6 months already? Time is flying.
About 4 months.
I still remember the photo we took in the parking lot of Arcadia Mall.
That's right. So about 4 months now. So and we can chat about that, but that's been an experience so far. So Aaron's gonna be coaching me for the next eight months. It's about next year or so. But yeah, man, thanks for joining us here,
Dude. It honestly, when you popped the question for me to be on, I was a little shocked. I'm like, I don't know what I have to offer, what I have to say, but I did talk to you about it.
You did. You brought it up. So I was
brought
like,
it up.
Let's get this boy
I was like,
on.
do you need any guests? But then I wasn't thinking of me. I was thinking of maybe my wife, maybe
We'll get her on next.
you know, maybe like that chick, Baby Hills. So she's the one that did I think Anthony Yim was talking about it, how China recruits. So I know her personally.
That could be someone cool to get on. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's out in NorCal.
Her name is Baby.
Well, her Instagram handle is Baby Hills.
Oh, that's not her real name though.
No, Hillary. Hillary's her name.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it. Cool. Well, right on, man. Dude, so there's a lot there in that introduction, but you know, on the biggest theme that we talk about is like, what does it mean to be a happy, healthy person? You are obviously in the fitness industry. You've gone through the ups and downs of having a healthy life and fitness journey yourself. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. You know, honestly, believe it or not, I was a nursing major. I went to SF State.
I did not know that.
So I don't really rep SF State hard.
That's very Filipino of you.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, Gators, right? But that is very Filipino
of you, yeah.
Right? But I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna say it for the people that don't say it, but like, yo, some of y'all out there trying to be registered nurses that like y'all doing it for the money, not because you really want to help people. And so I was there.
Hey, but he looked in the camera when he said that.
I looked at the camera when I said that.
He looked in the camera when he said that. So if you're listening to this,
because believe it or not, like,
YouTube,
I'm sure some of y'all are dying inside because especially what has happened the past like 5 years, like how you guys were mistreated and underpaid and just all that stuff. And I've even had clients that like, they're traveling nurses and they're like, yo, I hate life right now. And they're working us to the bone, like working 24-hour shifts, and they don't even get to eat, things like that, drink water or whatever, and it's they can't even go to use the bathroom, like stuff like that. Like that's horrible. So I kind of dodged a bullet there. I was headed that route, and then my junior year, which is probably the worst year to do it, I switched majors to kines. And then
kines majors, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go.
And so
any emphasis?
Oh, just exercise science and physiology.
Me too.
Hey. Dude, we have a lot more in common. I think we do. We just haven't had...
You're like one of the few people that I know that has a kines degree and is like using it in some capacity though. I would say that like majority of my graduating class that did not go to like DPT school.
Sure.
Just, I don't know. They're like some people are like financial advisors now. It's like something random.
Or like real estate.
Yeah.
Something.
Something, yeah.
And then when you try to talk to them about fitness, they're like, I don't know. Like what they know about fitness is completely not what they learned.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk all day about the kines stuff. Sure. Like I always think getting a kines degree is kind of like giving you a permit to understand the language.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the beginning. It's like it's kind of like why do you learn anatomy? Like why do all doctors need to learn anatomy? Because everyone needs to be in agreement of like what you call bones and muscles and tendons and joints and
of course,
organs and
energy pathways.
Yeah. So I think just it's speaking the same language, and I think I mean, kinesiology is like the study of biomechanics, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like for everyone that's
physiology, just overall exercise
like
physiology.
In the biomechanics world, like you have to be able to understand the same stuff, right? So,
absolutely. I wanted to be a DPT, but then again, see, like I was thinking the money route, and I'm like, I can't see myself trying to rehab folks who are injured. I just can't. So then I went the route of like, okay, well, I don't want to hand out pills and things like that in a hospital and be in four walls all day. Even though, I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
And mind you, during that time that like I switched to a kines degree, that was also, I mean, in my bio that I put around that same timeline, like that's when I received Christ too as my Lord and Savior. And so, Lord and Savior. And so for me, it was kind of like, that was one of the the purpose for me, like, hey, I'm going to help people instead of waiting for them to get sick. Let's try to help them like avoid getting there. That was my whole MO.
Yeah.
But let alone like when I finally graduated, it took me a little too long to graduate. I went from during
What's too long?
Let's say I got into college in like 2005, got out in 2011.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
bro.
Okay.
Me too, man.
All right. I mean, Joyce did it in 3.5 years, so I was like, dang.
Yeah.
Smarty pants.
I went to college in 2006.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2005, went to college, 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Did you take a year off before you, how old are you?
37.
Oh, me too. We're the same age.
We're the same age.
Bro, are you class of 05?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Bro, I did not know that. Bro, what the?
I bet you people are on the podcast are like, yo, he's 37, because majority of people that meet me, they think I'm like 28. I'm like, no.
Oh my
I probably
goodness.
just
I
act
didn't know
like
we're
a
the
kid.
same age. I thought you were like 2 years older.
No.
Dang.
2 years older?
I thought you were 2 years older. I don't know. You like presented yourself that way before.
Really?
Yeah. Right on, dude. You're class of, we're the same age. When's your birthday?
I told you that. Oh, I don't want to disclose that.
Oh, when's the
Let's just say it's in July.
Me too. Stop playing with me, dude.
I'm not playing, bro.
Stop playing with me, bro.
Do you want to see my ID? What my ID?
I'll see your ID. Stop playing.
It's in my bag.
Is your birthday really in July?
I'll show you my ID later.
My birthday's in July.
Beginning or end?
Very end.
Beginning.
Oh, man.
Rich Froning's right in between us.
Dude,
then.
yeah. He's July 24th. I'm a freak for knowing that. What a freak. Dude, I know Rich
What a
Froning's
freak
birthday.
that we both know that.
Yeah,
What a freak that like at the games when I met him, I was like, hey, bro, happy birthday, man.
Oh, that's. I mean, knowing what I know about him, he probably just said thank you. Right?
I was such a fanboy of Rich, man. That
I'm still a
like
fanboy.
I was hanging out with Hill for a little bit, and then I also gave their daughter Lakeland like a Minnie Mouse gift.
Oh, that's a little bit much.
At his last appearance. Well, that's because like I couldn't talk to him. He was so busy. So like Hillary was the one that was like, we'd always run into each other at the games, food stands, at the road tent.
You like brought a gift. Like, hey, this is for your daughter.
Well, I was in the area. And I wasn't even really in like heavy into CrossFit yet.
I think you're a bigger fan than me. Dude.
I was just a fanboy, bro.
Dude.
Back in the day, I was just a fanboy, like watching it, and then I'd hop in during the open without having no training, just because.
Wow.
Okay, this is supposedly for everybody, so let's do it.
Wow, right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you pursued nursing, went down the kines route, and now you've been in the coaching world now for probably about as long as I have, right?
Correct.
Like
since 2012.
Okay.
So I didn't become a trainer until 2012.
Okay.
I will say kines, majoring in kines did not prepare me to be a coach. Mm-hmm. Like you could get the same education having a whole bunch of certifications.
I agree.
And then on top of that, it's really just the experience.
Yeah.
It's making the mistakes or learning the lessons and then applying it and like correcting it like later down the line.
Yeah, that's why I told Drew not to go to college. Well,
really?
He really wanted to after he got his AS. So he got his associates in JUCO, or I don't know if he finished. I can't remember, but like he was, I think being around me and Luke, he had this idea of like what it means to be a really great coach. And I will say the education helps, right? Because you really immerse yourself in it in a very intense way for 2.5 years, right?
Sure.
I'm not going to count GEs and stuff like that. So it's when you take your upper elective and upper division classes, it's very kines focused.
I mean, there's
right?
there's a huge learning curve.
Yeah,
if you have the kines terminology already, and then you get a cert, you're not like it doesn't look like calculus on the screen, right?
So I think there's like a 2.5 year like deep study that it goes a long way. And I think he felt like inclined to get it. But I was like, dude, I'll just teach you everything you need to know, man. Just
there you go.
Just go get certs and like we can just talk about it, you know?
Yeah, but that's even better because now you have a one-on-one mentor.
Yeah, you know. So I think this is going on a tangent, but I think school's like chasing certs and degrees is a little overrated.
I mean, some people say college is a scam, right?
So yeah, I mean, exactly. So I think at the end of the day, I think having a great base is really important, but it's what do you do with that after? Like I'm more studious than ever, and I'm 37. We're 37. So, but yeah, so how, what's for you as someone that's been in this industry for a while? You coach obviously me, and we can talk about it a little bit. But
yeah.
What's your philosophy on what does it mean to be happy, healthy?
You have to.
What are the components of that for you?
For me, it was all over the place. Like going from, honestly, like let me backtrack just a little bit. So we're like 37, right? And so some people think that I'm like not even 30 yet, and some people think I'm early 30s. And I think that's because I feel like for the first time, at least for the last like few years, that I'm actually living free in my head.
Let's get into that. What does that mean?
We'll get into that. So like I talked to, in the bio about like I'm a recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I think of a people pleaser, I think of someone who like they can't identify themselves as a particular, I don't know, person, right? Or they don't have a direction, they don't have a purpose, they don't have that thing that they're working so hard for, right? And so now tying it together with like, well, what has made me happy? And that's me identifying why I do what I do. Like, why do I care so much about like my fitness, about eating healthy, about every so often, like going off, being orthorexic, and orthorexic is like,
yeah. What does that mean, dude?
So eating perfectly, like, yeah. So like, okay. You wouldn't catch me having a donut. You wouldn't catch me having a Diet Coke like I had earlier. You wouldn't catch me having dairy, things like that. Things that are kind of, like against the grain, right? Because you have people who are just all in, like, oh, I'm gonna, what was the CrossFit? Man, you can take away my L2 if I don't remember this. No. It's like eat meat and veggies, nuts and seeds, sure. Some fruit, little starch, no sugar, right? Mm-hmm. Like I took that really to the T. And so coming from a background where like I was overweight, 220 pounds ish, like over 30% body fat, and then going 180, becoming like anorexic, bulimic, and mind you, I went through that whole stage.
Like you puked, you used to throw up,
dude. I was anorexic, and then when I didn't know anorexia was a thing, it was just something I saw like in like nutrition class, where like, oh yeah, this is what anorexia looks like, and it's this chick like having a piece of celery, and that's all she would eat for the whole day because she didn't want to gain a pound or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what I knew anorexia as, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not anorexic. Like, even though I'm like, if you were to total my calories back then, I'm having like 200 calories a day. Like 200? 1,200. 1,200, okay. Like I'm talking like brown rice, everything. Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, white rice is bad, right? Yeah. Chicken breast, asparagus, grapefruit juice, because I thought...
I guess I was anorexic too then.
Because I thought grapefruit juice was, burns the fat. You know what I mean? Burns the visceral fat.
I didn't fall for none of that, but okay.
That's what I say. Okay. That's what you'll see in stuff like in like men's health. And I'm like, dude, like you're already in kines, like you've already taken like the nutrition course, like that's not it. But then what I was believing was what was happening to my body, and then on top of that, being anorexic, like let's say I go out to eat with friends, they'd be like, you're eating a little too perfect, man. Like why can't you just enjoy some noodles or something? So like, okay, like mindset shifted just a little bit. And then there goes the people pleasing, right? So there's going to be a trend. There goes the people pleasing. Like I'm going to, please what they want me to eat because they're all eating the same thing, which they probably feel guilty that they're eating that. So they're trying to drag me with them. So then I'll be like, okay, fine. Like I'm going to start ordering other stuff when I eat out with them. I remember the night that I realized I was bulimic, I ate at a place in the city in SF because I'm born and raised in the Bay, even though I love SoCal. There's a place called King of Thai. And I remember ordering a large pad thai to myself. Like,
there's different sizes on pad thais?
There are, I guess. I mean, like there was a small, like individual
Okay.
side order, and then there was like a large, like the large, and like all of a sudden they're like, "Yo, like you're gonna eat all that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I ate all of it." But then, mind you, like 2 minutes later, I go to the bathroom, I start throwing it up, and I didn't know that that was not a good thing until a friend of mine overheard me. He overheard like something. He's like, "Hey, you all right?" And it's, one of those bathrooms. It's like individual bathroom, like multi-purpose.
But you're yakking.
I was yakking. I walk out, and he's like, "Hey, you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, why? What's up?" He's like, "Dude, are you throwing up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you sure you're okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Bro, it was echoing throughout the restaurant," and I'm like, "Bro, I thought I was like incognito about it too."
Wait,
Like,
so were you just you felt nauseous after eating, or
no,
did you
I did that so I can eat more.
Interesting.
I did that so I can eat more.
Interesting.
And so like
you like stuck a finger down.
no, I don't have to. Bro, I was so used to it, I didn't have to do that.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So on top of me being anorexic, I was also bulimic.
Wow.
And then on days when I wasn't binging with friends, church friends, family, stuff like that, I was trying to eat so perfect.
Yeah.
Right? So like I went through the whole 9 without even knowing it.
Wow.
And to be honest, I don't want to make this sound corny, but like I don't want to say CrossFit saved my life.
Yeah.
But it was when I first walked into my first CrossFit gym. And I decided to like do the open legit instead of like, you record and you have a judge, like an online judge watch it. Like, I mean, they still have that now. But I walked into my first gym in 2015. I'll never forget it. Marvelous Performance in Burlingame. We closed down, unfortunately, during COVID. That's a whole nother story I can go down. But walked in and I remember seeing everyone so much bigger than me. All the guys were like huge. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I not working out right? But as soon as and I remember it was like 15.1. As soon as 15.2. I did 15.1 on my own. As soon as people finished working out, bro, people were like ordering chicken katsu, eating pizza, drinking beer. I mean, you don't get gains drinking beer, but I just made the connection that like, dude, these guys aren't afraid to eat. And I'm like, is that why they can perform like that? And so over the course of me becoming a drop-in to a member to becoming one of the head coaches, I was battling anorexia. I wasn't bulimic anymore.
Were you closet battling it, or were you like pretty?
I was closet battling it. Oh yeah, people would be like, "Why are you so lean? Like you're lean like all year round, right?" And it wasn't until
I don't have that problem,
bro. We're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there. Trust me. But then the purpose now was I need to perform. So I need to eat more.
Yeah, that relates.
And so I guess what I'm trying to say is like what has allowed me to be happy, healthy, right? HHH, what's the last H? Human is understanding that like I'm going to eat for my performance and my recovery, but I'm also going to eat food that soothes my soul. So if I want a donut, I'm going to have a donut every so often. Not today though. Not today. Oh, I said no. Yeah, I said no that cafe. Yeah. Balance. I asked for a banana. And then, it's, you know what I mean? Like you can eat well, but then it's like, and mind you, like my wife's not the type of person, like Joyce is very much like everything is for recovery, performance. Like she used to be that type of person that'd be like, oh, I'm going to go have a cream cheese filled hot dog from Seattle. I'm going to go have like a box of donuts. She's completely went 180. So like, does she want to have a donut every so often, things like that? Not really, unless it's like an old fashioned plain. Me on the other hand, I'm like, yo, I can eat like this to perform. And then it's like, yo, I feel like a deep dish pizza. And I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, does this fit my macros? When I was in bodybuilding prep, I'd be like, does this fit my macros? And then times like when we were at NCC this past weekend, I was like, I just felt free. I'm like, I'm not tracking. Like, this isn't going to affect my health.
Yeah.
But I'm going to enjoy this. I'm not going to binge, but I'm going to taste the pizza. I'm not going to scarf it down.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoy it to the fullest and be present with my friends and my wife and not be like, I need to track this and I need to make sure I'm on the dot. I think that's kind of where I was talking about freedom. Like I feel free. Like I feel free to express my faith. I feel free to express that I'm fit. I am fit. And I'm not afraid to be around people who aren't fit because I'm not going to shame them. They can shame me all they want, but I'm not going to shame them. Be like, hey, you should be eating like this. even though we all know how that conversation goes, where it's like,
sure,
you're the fit person in the group, and then right away people are like, oh, I've been meaning to work out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, but if you meet a real estate agent, no one goes, oh, I've been meaning to buy a house. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not afraid to be myself. And that's what makes me feel free. If that makes sense.
Yeah. As you were talking about, as you were sharing about like you're going out with friends, and what were your friends like in that season?
Oh, dude. They were younger. They were younger than me.
What were these friends like that, the ones that were catching you puking, and like were they fitness people? Were they CrossFitters? Were they like what kind of friends were these? And I'm just curious what your context was like.
So they were church folks.
Okay.
I don't want to say too much without, like, I don't want to tear down or like undermine, right? But they're church folks, and I don't want to say like church folks don't care about their health, but that's kind of true.
You can jam on that one. Yeah.
That's kind of true. Where it's just like I don't like the whole like let's say for example we have weekends where like they'd order. I'm talking like, and mind you, this is a Filipino church. Sure. Filipino church, full on lechon.
Oh damn!
Deep fried everything, bro.
Dang, your church got budget, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
you got full on lechon, dude. Like a full piggy.
I'm telling you. And then like
they got budget. Wow. What church is that? Shout it out.
I don't go there anymore. Honestly, like pinakbet. Like I mean, I'm sure the Filipinos are gonna watch this. They're gonna know exactly all the foods I'm talking about, like lumpia, all that stuff, right?
All the goodies, man.
All the goodies. And then they'd serve like water, diet sodas, things like that.
Sure.
So let's just say, as soon as the prayer kicks in, and I was already in the health industry, right? My anorexic, bulimic self, they're gonna bless the food, right? And I'm like, yo, I see the food. I'm like, yo, this is like, the macros are off the charts. Sure. The inflammation is going to be off the charts. No wonder if people here are having gout and they're like overweight and stuff like that.
They're like 17 years old.
But when the prayer kicks in, right? Oh, Lord, bless this food, blah, blah, blah. Amen. I'm like, my eyes just go wide open every time because I'm like, this is not going to bless your body.
Yeah.
I am not joking.
That's an interesting... Yeah, that's an interesting conversation around just cultural eating, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, because what you're talking about is, church is a subculture of people, right?
There's
all sorts of different types of subculture of people. And, I think there's two types in that community. And me being like, I'm in a faith community myself, right? You get the people that are a little bit more like me, where for me, I view body as stewardship, right? So you got my body's a temple type people, where it's like, hey, I'm going to do my best, take care of it. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy things. Similar posture to yours. Of course. Then you got people that are like on the other side of the spectrum, where it's like, hey, y'all gonna die anyway, right? You're gonna die anyway. YOLO.
Yeah.
Right. YOLO, and like I'm gonna be significantly overweight. I'm gonna have every time I eat, I'm gonna have what do you call it when the acid reflux? Whenever I eat, I'm gonna have acid reflux. It's just a part of normal my life, but it is what it is because my body's temporary anyway, right?
Oh boy.
So I think you got like two sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And then you have people that are just like, I don't care to think about all that.
Yeah.
Right. And I think like on the topic of like happiness and being healthy and stewarding your health, I think you're always gonna have a spectrum.
Sure.
Of people, and it depends on what they believe. It depends on how they perceive life. It depends on how they even perceive food in general. Right. Like I think a lot of like, even as you share like that's how they kind of see food. I think a lot of it comes from, I mean, if this is, I'm guessing a first/second generation Filipino church community, most of them are coming, they're immigrants. And like never in your life could you eat this good before, maybe back home.
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of it is like more, it's not even a celebration of like community and like the food itself, but it's like the fact that I was on a call with Bonnie. What's up, Bonnie? I was on a call with Bonnie, my mental fitness coach earlier. But for a lot of these people, it's about the freedom to be able to do that. Right? It's like, oh, like I've it's like for Latino culture people, it's like they have carne asadas, right? Where it's like like you don't go to a carne asada like thinking I'm gonna come have a reasonable amount of food.
Yeah.
Like you're going in there going like, I'm eating.
Yeah.
Right. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here to eat. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm here to eat. Like with the way I pounded my fist just now, that posture alone is part of the experience. It's like, oh, we know it's going to be a good time. Right. Chinese people have the same thing. Right. We have like lunar.
I mean, that's why there's a ton of ace places.
Right. Yeah. We have like Lunar New Year meals where it's like, so I think there's always something, Americans have like July 4th Memorial Day barbecues where it's like you pound beer and so I think a lot of times it is cultural and there's instances where, okay. And then there's also cultures that are just like, this is just now the culture, right? Where it's like every event, every time you gather, it's like.
There's drinking, right? There's shots, there's a whole bunch of like really, I don't want to say bad and good food, but just
yeah, and I think that's a challenge. You know, that's like my kids go to a school where every week someone has a birthday. Every week, sometimes 2 to 3 times a week. You know, you can't control when their birthdays are. Yeah. But what they allow the kids to bring like treats for the class, and I'm like, yo, like it feels like every day my daughter's getting a brownie or a cupcake or something at school, and I'm like. A dopamine, like I also kick. I want you to celebrate your friends.
Yeah.
But I also as you're 7 years old and forming your habits, I don't want you to think that like this is just like normal practice to have this much stuff every day. And then even then it's like a bigger conversation like what does this cupcake fall into the totality of what you're eating today? You know, so but yeah, I think food is absolutely tied to culture and experiences and they mean different things to different people, but it sounds like you've had, how did you get away from that?
Dude, honestly, it's because I identified with like, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What example do I want to be towards the people around me? Yeah. And like, long story short, it got to the point where like my pastor at the time started to take it seriously because he started to see that like, oh, I actually need to exercise. Otherwise, I'm not going to be around for the congregation. Yeah. For my son, who has cerebral palsy. For my wife, right? And then he started to like eat a little bit healthier, which was like, that's the part that like, it doesn't even have to be anything like magnificently different than how he's eating now. But he started to make certain changes. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to have that deep fried chicken from like Jollibee. I'm going to have a grilled chicken and maybe I'll have, it's called okoi, which is like a deep fried, like appetizer of like squash and shrimp and tofu and stuff like that. He's like, I'm going to have that. So he started to like change the way he was eating, but he had purpose to why he was eating the way he was eating. I don't know how he's doing now, but in the course of the time that like I saw him making these small changes, he started to actually have less inflammation. His gut and inflammation started to come down. And so I'm like, wow, if I could make that impact with like someone older than me, like how much more impact can I make to folks younger or my age? And it's interesting because, okay, we're 37. We're nearing our 40s, right? Yeah. I can't tell you how many folks my age I see like are overweight. They're like, I have so many like injuries and gout. Yeah. I'm like, yo, like it's sad to see because I'm like, that could have been prevented. Like just because you were young doesn't mean you abuse your body, right? I mean, I abused my body in a different way, right? Sure. I didn't give it the right nutrients and stuff like that. And my whole MO was, I just want to look skinny. We can go a whole nother rabbit hole of like why too, because I was in the, what industry is that? The clothing industry? Or I was in retail. I was in retail. And I remember I got made fun a lot for not being skinny enough.
Really?
So I identified myself.
Working retail?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't fit in Banana Republic clothes, bro.
I see.
I didn't make it look like the way it should. So they always stuck me in the stock room.
I see.
You know what I mean? And then like that brought back trauma.
Like, but that's like so 90s, bro.
I know.
Not anymore.
They don't do that now.
Your buttons could be like opening up today, and they'll let you stand out front.
Oh man, I mean, and I think one of the people like the main influences in that too is like The Rock, Dwayne, like what he did in Hollywood. Like he's like, no, I'm not gonna shrink down to whatever size. Like I'm gonna be a big boy, and I'm gonna do it this way.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, it was really about becoming an example for others, like realizing that the choices that you're making were impacting the closest ones around you.
Oh, absolutely.
And that became kind of this driving force in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I mean, that's a huge part of, man, the mission that we have here is we have this idea that we want to impact over the course of 30 years, we want to impact 6,000 people because that's about 10% of the population in the area. And if you can impact those people, they're going to impact somebody else, right? So like for us, it's like when people come into our gym where they're getting coached by us, it's not even that we're coaching you. It's that we're coaching you, and we hope that the changes that you're making are as a parent are changing the choices that you make with your children.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Leading by example.
It's changing like generational decisions that have been made maybe for you that now you can make for your kids. Right? Like my kids are being raised very differently. My kids use the word protein. Like my 7 and 5 year old say, "Oh, I know why you want that, Dad. It has protein." Right? And it's like, but like it sounds corny and it sounds funny.
Yeah.
But it's because I've normalized.
Yeah.
Like it's a joke in my family. My wife goes, "Oh, what does everyone want to eat?" And I go, "You already know what I want." And then my wife goes, "Oh, meat and veggies, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like that's my default.
Yeah.
And it's like, although it's something to be made fun of, it's also creating a baseline of culture,
of course,
that exists for my children and then their next generation, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think
what was hard was me removing myself from that culture. The culture of like eating whatever. So like it sucks, but like, you know how some people say like, okay, if you don't like you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, right? Yeah. So I did not know I was actually doing it, but I was removing people from my life. Yeah. Like I wasn't hanging out with them. I wouldn't call them up like, "Hey, let's go eat here." Oh, hey, like, and it was happening organically. Like, I'm going to go work out. Oh, we don't want to go work out. Like we were going to go do this and do this. And it got to the point where like, I mean, y'all could ask me how many I'm full Filipino, like full blooded. Y'all could ask me how many Filipino parties I actually go to. 0.
Dang, dude,
Zero.
You're missing out, bro.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it. And yet here you have my family members like looking at me like I'm a freak. Like, yo, Aaron's he's a health freak. And I'm just like, yo, but who's the one who's able to play with the kids, the toddlers?
Sure.
Like, I love my brother, like my younger brother. He's like early 30s. He complained to me about shoulder problems all the time, knee problems. I'm like, bro, you're a union guy. Like, you work so much already. Like, you need to mobilize, stretch out, and eat right. Have more water, right? Sleep a little bit more. So for him, it's like you're younger than me. Like, I shouldn't be outworking you.
Sure.
And so for him, it's like, it's an example that like, yo, I got to take care of my body a little bit more. Right. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I don't have the genetics of like being whatever I look or performing however I perform. It's the little investments I've done like over time, even though they were difficult like during that time, that has paid huge dividends now. And I'm like, I'm excited to get to 40. I hear people like they're deathly afraid of getting to 40. I'm like, yo, I can't wait to see what I can do when I'm 40.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm not actually. I'm really looking at 45. Like that
50. Can you imagine us at 50?
50, I'm not that excited about because I'll be honest. I think I have very few 50-year-old, like it's a very small list of 50-year-olds that I have to like look up to. Although there are a few, but there are like more people in their 40s that I'm like, oh, like I can see like what a healthy 40s looks like, right? My closest friends are all in their like mid to late 40s too. But I'm like, there's very few people that are like 50 that are like, I feel like I look at them like they're, because like I even when I look at people our age, I see very few people that have a life that I go, and this isn't to say like I think I have an awesome, like my life's better than everybody else's, but I have very few people when I look around go like, oh, like I'm not ever really jealous of anybody's life. Where I'm going like, oh, I mean, like Rich Fronings, yeah, games athlete, dad, you know, but Travis Mayer is my new crush though. Just
know there's always going to be someone that looks at your life and is like, yo, I want that life.
100%.
Like when you told me about your Porsche, when you pick up your clients in your Porsche, they don't see, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, right? Yeah. So, but what I mean is like, I rarely ever look at someone and go like, oh my gosh, like I really want to be like, exactly, like I want to trade my life for theirs. And I would say that for the most part, it's because when I look around at like, I'm not talking about like close friends, but a lot of peers or acquaintances that, you know, over time, I'm like, dude, like they're so unhealthy. They're so unhealthy, and that's like the biggest factor of like what's keeping them, in my opinion, from living a really happy life. Sure, it's like that's the thing, and it's they're doing all these other things to like mask their lack of having good blood markers, having a decent weight range, body fat percentage, whatever, right? And then it affects your mental health and all this stuff. And I always go to say, it's like, I feel like if they just like improve that one small thing, everything else will get better.
I mean, looks are deceiving, because it's just like you get someone. That's why I think a lot of people look, okay, Sebum, you're like, I didn't even know what he was. Like, I thought he was a powerlifter. So he's like a five-time classic physique champion in the Olympia, okay, right? Looks can be deceiving. So like when people see a bodybuilder, first thing they think of, all they care about is macros and calories. They care about their aesthetic so much. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, of course, that's the sport that they're in, right? Mm-hmm. But I think so many people look up to Sebum. Chris Bumstead, for those that don't know who he is, look him up. It's because he's very real with himself. Like what he's going through. He's very vulnerable and transparent during his prep time, especially leading up to the Olympia. Yep. And he doesn't shy away from hiding the losses in his life or hiding what he's going through. Like when he's injured. Of course, like when you're injured, you're not going to tell your competitor like you're injured, blah, blah. But he doesn't shy away from those things. And it's because he's very relatable. So I think when people try to hide who they really are, you're technically going away from the people that will naturally attract to you. And so, and if you don't know who that is, like, oh, who am I supposed to be? Like, what's my purpose? Yep. Like, you have to have a vision of what you want to be. Shameless plug. I mean, I think that's why my handle's the way it is. My handle's vision driven, right? So someone one day was kind of... Someone one day was kind of making fun of me. They were like, oh, like, why vision driven or driven with vision? That's what it used to be. And I was like, well, how can you know the direction you're going to take unless you see yourself becoming that person? Because now your actions aren't going to be going towards that person you want to be like. Or let's just say some people also believe like, oh, I'm already who I'm supposed to be. I just have to peel back the layers, right? You won't know what actions you need to take to be that person or to step into that role or into those shoes. I lost my track of where we're going now on that one, but yeah, in order to be, I think, a complete version, you have to know, you have to envision, you have to know and see like who you want to be, and then you take the steps to get there. It doesn't have to be like 10 steps at a time, or like how people skip steps, taking 2 steps at a time, but like, yeah.
Based on what you've kind of, this really went down like a nutrition kind of topical conversation today. Which
what were you trying to be?
I wasn't trying to be anything. So this is, so it's kind of cool to kind of categorize this one kind of more under nutrition. But what would you say, based on what we talked about today, with your journey and what you've learned, is what's the biggest lesson you've learned in your journey in the last 10 years? And in relation to like experiencing feeling free.
I would say to not let I don't want to say underqualified, because then it also goes back to like what you want to be. So like I was going to say, don't let people who are underqualified influence you in your decisions.
Can you elaborate on that?
So, because at the same time, you can learn something from someone younger who's already on their path. Like they know what they want to be, right? They know the steps they need to take. Or you can hear it from someone older that's already done it.
Yeah. And
then on the other end, you have people that know about it, that know how to get there, but then that's not their goal. So it's like, who do you listen to, right? I think a lot of times people will try to influence folks which way they want them to go, not necessarily what they think is best for the person that they're talking to. Like, for example, parents, Filipino culture. Oh, unless you're a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, you're a failure. Well, I became a health coach. And for the longest time, I used to think this is not a real job. I'm just playing around. This is a side hustle. I'm like, no, this is my life. Like, this is my career. Like, I live and breathe this. I'm not a fanatic about it. Like, I don't go telling people I'm a health coach, but I lead by example. And I watch those who also lead by example and who also influence in a way where it's like, yeah, fitness is for everybody. It's not powerlifting's the best. It's not CrossFit's the best. It's not bodybuilding's the best. It's not Zumba is the best. But listening to the folks that help me level up and become a better person, not necessarily like level up like certifications or positions, but just level up as like a human being.
As a human being, yeah.
Yeah. Like you. We could talk a little bit more about that later on, but yeah. You're one of the big influences, bro.
I appreciate that.
There you go.
Likewise. Let's do some. We're gonna kind of wrap. We've been chatting for like 40 or so minutes. We're gonna wrap up with a few rapid fire questions that we'll kind of just shoot off.
Ooh.
We're gonna wrap up with a few rapid fire questions and then wrap up with a kind of one more serious one. But all right, man. Number one, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Go back to sleep?
No, I actually get up and I make coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you do.
That's literally the first. Well, okay, if it's not like an actionable thing, the first thing I do is just like, God, what do you want me to do today?
You pray.
I mean, to me, it's talking, but then like people identify that as prayer. But like as soon as I get up, I'm like, yo, like, because I'm always searching for purpose and direction. So I'm like,
that's your first thought when you wake up.
Dude, I'm gonna get teary eyed. That's a rapid fire question, but it's a long loaded answer. But yeah, literally, it's like, God, what do you want me to do today? Who do you want me to impact today? And it's not me saying it out loud. It's just me like, how can you use me today?
It's like your posture. Yeah. I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask coffee or tea, but it sounds like coffee.
Coffee.
Are you like a Keurig coffee? Like you push a button and your coffee gets made, or you like a pour over? I'm not a coffee guy. So.
Oh, okay. I used to be like that type of person that would like.
What's your coffee? What's the coffee that you make every morning?
Oh, dude, instant because it's convenient.
Oh, but I was not expecting. Bro, that's
the coffee connoisseurs are gonna hate me for this because
Folgers. Sorry to be rude.
I'm talking like Great Value Walmart brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you add hot water to
hot water and some Fairlife, and then I use a frother to mix it.
It's like powder.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so I used to be the pour over guy. I used to be I grind, like I do it for people when we're camping, and I don't do it for myself. Sure. Like I used to hand grind it.
Yeah.
Put it in the filter, in the paper filter, right? Let it drip. Do the whole 60 grams. Yeah. Let it steep 90, then 100. Right? Wow. All that. That used to be me. I learned from James, the owner of Blue Bottle. So he used to be one of my clients. So he had me go to his testing center in the city, and he showed me how to actually do a real pour over. So then I was obsessed with it. And he's like, yeah, this is my way of meditation, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I just got away from that. I'm just like, yo, like, I don't think I need to do that. I think I could just handle instant coffee.
Dang. Is instant coffee, we can go.
We can go, yeah, whole no, yeah.
Is instant coffee higher caffeine?
I would say like depending on how much you put.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like it's one serving's like 80 milligrams of.
Let's just say if you don't follow the instructions that it says, like if you don't go like 1 tablespoon for every like 6 to 8 ounces, it's gonna taste disgusking.
I see.
Yeah. So there's they have their just follow the instructions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like using Element. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your go-to workout playlist? What do you listen to?
Wow. Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
My go-to workout playlist is. I have a playlist on Spotify. I don't know if you want me to share that to you, but it just has a blend of stuff. It has like
so there's no specific genre.
No specific genre. Okay. It's just like whatever has like a nice beat. It's not. It's like it used to be trap, but it's just like it's more R&B, hip hop.
Doing trap. Okay.
A little bit of EDM. I can
see you doing EDM.
Some Taylor Swift, although I'm not a Swiftie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a blend.
What do you think mine is?
I know there's like one hip hop Christian artist that you listen to a lot in the gym.
Hip hop? Oh, KB.
KB, yes.
Shout out to KB.
Yeah, dude.
That was actually a trick question.
Dude,
I listen to podcasts.
Dude, there's another kid coming up. His name is Miles Minnick.
Miles Minnick?
Bro, he's doing like Christian rap on current hip hop
I hope
beats.
Drew listens to this because he makes fun of me really.
Really?
Yeah, my music selection, yeah. But right on. Okay. I like that. What's your favorite cheat meal? And is that even a thing?
Cheat meals are a thing. I think when people label food as like good or bad or like dirty and clean, it feeds into people's psyche about like what food really is, which is just nutritious food and non-nutritious food.
Yeah. What's your favorite non-nutritious food?
Oh, cool. I mean, I was going to address the whole cheat meal thing. Some people would... I don't think people would say sushi and raw fish because I eat it all the time.
That's not maybe
what are you talking about? A deep dish pizza, and I'm not talking like some of the deep dish pizzas here are like not even really deep dish. Like, shout out to Blue Line Pizza and Little Star in the Bay Area, because their deep dish is like that.
Okay.
It's not like
a
that.
BJ's pizza. Okay.
It's like to the brim, bro. Like, you really need a fork.
Yeah, I'll be honest, this is kind of a hot take, but I was in Chicago. We had Illuminati's.
Okay.
Hey, bro, honestly,
it's hot.
Deep dish pizza is trash.
It's overhyped.
I'm sorry, man. I think New York pizza is the way to go.
Really? Like I could like a thin. I like a Ninja Turtle thin crust pizza.
I think deep dish is like, it's not. It's like it's lasagna over crust, dude. It's not good. It's too much. Man.
I have to be in the mood. But if you go to Blue Line Pizza in the Bay Area, bro, you gotta put honey on the crust after you eat the pizza.
Blue Line Pizza. Right, Blue Line.
They are, and they're a sister company of another place called Little Star. But I could see the thin crust. I'm down with.
I'm going to continue the hot take. So I think if a pizza is more than this thick, if it's thicker than this, it's disgusting. That's my hot take on pizza. I think pizza it should be this thin or thinner.
Pineapple or no pineapple on pizza.
So I would say I was anti-pineapple before. Like I was like, why would you ask me that? But Drew introduced me to pineapple and pepperoni, and it's not terrible. It's kind of nice.
There you go.
It's like a spicy Hawaiian.
Ranch or blue cheese?
Blue cheese is gross, dude. Blue cheese is like eating armpit. Blue cheese is straight up eating armpit, dude. Like if you like the taste of armpit, just eat blue cheese. Like you literally just like do a workout, go get hot wings, and take a bite and go like this, and that's blue cheese. Okay, like
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
but okay,
it's not.
I mean, I'm a ranch guy, but I've never thought.
Blue cheese is not it for me, bro. Hey, I'm asking you the rapid fire, bro. What's happening?
I had someone told me not to let you lead the conversation.
That's
so
true. I like that. All right, dude. Morning or evening workouts?
Morning.
I like that.
Shout out to the 5 and 6 a.m. crew at West Covina Athletics.
Okay. What's one fitness myth that you wish would disappear?
Fitness myth.
Yeah.
Is that a rapid fire question or fitness myth? That's a tough one.
Is it?
Because like my mind is already like welcoming, right? I
got so many.
I even said Zumba. Like
my top one would be like all calories are just calories.
Oh, okay.
Like something like that.
I would agree to that then. I mean, I'm not even coming up with my own, but because I don't have a lot of myths in my head, but yeah, not all calories are the same. So someone could be like, oh, if it fits your macros. I'm like, bro, but where are your vitamins and minerals? You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother topic.
Okay. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but these are not rapid fire. What's your proudest fitness achievement?
My proudest?
Yeah.
Dude, CrossFitters I'm not gonna like this one, but I would have to agree with what my wife told me on the drive down after I competed at my first classic physique bodybuilding competition.
Okay.
And it would have to be stepping on stage for the very first time in the classic physique division and doing my whole individual routine, going up against guys who were like on gear and I'm not. And she was like, you look like you were in your happiest state in your fitness career. And I was like, what do you mean? In like your competitive fitness career? And I was like, okay. And she goes, you were doing everything you loved. Like you were dancing. What you looked like was a representation of like the hard work, which you like hard work. All of that culminated into that 10-minute time frame that you had on stage or whatever, like being compared, even though like you didn't really care about being compared, you cared about the presentation and you broke barriers, you broke walls for yourself. She was just like, cause I'm shy. I'm naturally a shy person, but being on stage, being compared, which another topic. My dad used to compare me to like all my friends who were more fit, skinnier, whatever, made more money, whatever. But being on stage and not caring about that stuff was like a breaking point for me. Shout out to my coach, Mighty Mike Cano, for helping me get there. Yeah.
Last question, and we're going to wrap with this one, but what's one piece of advice that you give to your younger self?
Hey, that's supposed to be rapid fire?
It's rapid fire, bro.
Dude, you hit a nerve with that one. Oh, man.
Because there's so many pieces.
Dude, you struck a nerve with that question. What would I tell my younger self?
Yeah, what would you tell your younger self? One piece of advice.
Let me get it together.
Dude, be you, bro. Be
you
you.
don't, bro. You don't.
Be you. Be
you don't
you,
gotta
bro.
edit this out. This is real, dude. I think this is stuff that people need to see because they don't get. Oh man, they don't. I know a lot of people don't dig to this point, and like I'm not ashamed of it. Man, you had no idea that this is
No.
Bro, I am not ashamed of like crying on this podcast. It would be to keep his blinders on, because what he feels deep down, what he wants to be, is legit. Like, you don't have to try to be like anyone else, bro. Because, kid, you are one of one. Whew. Yeah. And I wouldn't just tell my younger self that. I would tell everyone right now that's kind of battling with that, like, yo, stop trying to be a copy. Like, for the longest time, I tried to be a copy of so many different people. And that's what limited me from who I am now. So,
Fire.
yeah, you guys, like, be one of one. Like, that's real. That's, like, unfiltered. Like, keep your blinders on. Like, don't care about the people around you who might be going a different direction than you. Like, yeah.
It's heat, bro. Dude, thanks for joining me here today, man. We hit exactly 59. That was awesome. Well, it's minus 6 minutes, but guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here today, Aaron.
God, thank you for having me, man. This was
guys, y'all can connect with Aaron at vzn.driven, DRVN on Instagram. And I'm not gonna put his socials. I always joke that I put people's socials out there, social security number. But yeah, thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast. We are growing in our listens, and we love that. If you want to connect, give us a thumbs up. And the best way that you can help our podcast, we run this ad-free. We don't have any sponsors. We used to be sponsored by NOCO. Shout out to NOCO, who doesn't sponsor us anymore. But yeah, we run this ad-free, and we want to keep it that way forever. So may this be a resource to you, and enjoy. And stay healthy, stay happy.